Hey, this is Anirban here from Alive with AD, where I take interviews of digital nomads so you can be a digital nomad as well. In the third episode of Alive with AD, we have Sophie. She is from UK originally, but currently she is in Thailand and she has a portfolio of experiences. She has done career coaching, has done business mentoring, she was in e-commerce as well. Also, she's a podcast host for the last 2.5 years. Welcome, Sophie, to the podcast. Awesome. So we are starting with the first section of our question, and the first question is: please share a brief intro about yourself.
21. But because I was holding a career in retail and e-commerce, it was very difficult to travel full time with that job. So I would always travel with work, and I would travel personally, and I would come to trips to Asia, for example. And I always wanted more from those experiences. I always wanted to be able to live in that location or work from that location. And I didn't really understand how to do it until the pandemic hit, and I decided to start my own business, which I knew full well that I had to make sure that it was set up so that I could work remotely from anywhere in the world, so that I could move into being more nomadic and living nomadically. I kind of went from like fashion, retail, e-commerce background, transferred those skills into my business. I started an e-commerce consultancy where I was working with small product-based business owners, and now I'm kind of pivoting my business again 5 years down the line, whilst because I realised that the business that I had built wasn't necessarily working for the nomad life that I've also built for myself. So I'm currently pivoting my business to make my business online work a bit better for me, basically, whilst I'm living nomadically. So yeah, I'm living here in Thailand right now. I've been living nomadically for the past 4 years. I started out in Bali, as many people do, and then I've been traveling for the past couple of years around Latin America, Europe, Asia, and then have landed back in Thailand. And I'll be here for the foreseeable future. Not sure how long yet. We'll see.
Awesome. So my second question to you is: how did you start your digital nomad journey?
How did I start? So when I first went to Bali in 2017, I started noticing that people were living in Bali and working from their laptops. I had a friend that was living there, and I always was like, what are people doing here? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are they able to work remotely from their laptops from in cafes? Like, I just didn't get it. Like, that was such a foreign concept to me, because in the fashion industry, working remotely is not a thing. So I was expanded into that world back then in 2017, but it wasn't until I started my business in 2020 that I was like, oh, this could be a reality for me. Like, I could actually move to wherever I want in the world and run my business from there. So I started my business in April 2020, so literally as we went into the pandemic. And then by end of 2021, so around October 2021, I decided that I was moving to Bali. So I got on a plane, and actually Bali was still not open to tourists. So you had to apply for visas. I had to do a quarantine in Jakarta before I was even allowed into Bali. The people that were in Bali at that time were very much people that had really worked hard to get into Bali, for example. So my nomad journey kind of started there, but to be honest, I was more living in Bali. I would say I was living. I think true nomad experiences where I've been traveling and working, I would say started in 2023 when I left Bali. I came to Thailand and I started traveling ever since then. And I haven't really stopped since then. So I'd say that's where my nomad journey truly began.
Okay. So as you have said that you are a full-time traveler right now, so how do you balance your work, travel, and personal life?
I think there's no such thing as balance. I think you just have to try and live in harmony with all of the different parts. I put myself first. That's period. Like, I'm the first priority. My business isn't my first priority. I am. So like for me, mental health, my personal life, how I'm feeling is my biggest time investment, to be honest, because if I'm not okay, then my business can't be okay. If I'm not okay, then I can't live this lifestyle. So for me, I prioritize myself and then my business. I generally will keep mornings for myself. So like my brain doesn't switch on until the afternoon anyway. So in the morning, I will do my practices. I'll create my own little routine. I'll set myself up the day ahead. And then I start working in the afternoons usually. Because I've been able to navigate like my nervous system, calm my nervous system in the morning, I then have a really productive afternoon. And then I can spend my evenings to myself. So generally I work between like 5 to 7 hours a day, say, and I try and be as productive as I can in those times.
I see. So, what's your most memorable travel story?
I mean, there's so many. I think probably last year when I went to Costa Rica, I swear by Costa Rica being my favorite place in the world. And I think it was because of the nature and the wildlife there. I loved that I went to see sloths. Like, I remember we were just driving through the jungle and then the car would stop and he'd be like, "Get out, sloth watch." And we'd go and watch the sloths. And I loved that because being from the UK, that's not something that we have, right, accessible to us. So for me, that was like very memorable. Sloths are incredible little creatures, and yeah, I mean, there's been so many, but that would be a highlight, I would say.
Amazing. So, what's your biggest challenge as a digital nomad?
I think the biggest challenge is trying to navigate so many things at once. It's not like you have one stable home and then you can run your business from that one stable home. No, you are constantly thinking about where am I going next? Where am I going to live? Where am I going to find Wi-Fi? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to work? How am I going to make friends? There's a lot of like fundamental survival skills involved in being a nomad, which you don't necessarily have if you're living in one location, because you generally will set yourself up a little bit earlier on in life, in your 20s, for example, and you'll have the friendship group, you'll have the house. And then when you become nomadic, you kind of give all of that away. So alongside running a business, there's a lot of mental energy that's taken up and consumed by the fact that you are actually having to survive as well. You always need a roof over your head, you need Wi-Fi to work, you need to eat, you need community and friendship. So there's that extra layer of kind of pressure, I guess, in terms of actually navigating that side. That is definitely the biggest challenge, is the mental capacity that part takes up and then sometimes can distract away from running a business.
So, as you know, while we travel, we actually suffer with health issues as well. So, how do you stay healthy while traveling the world?
I'm generally quite a active person, and like I said, I put myself first, right? So like my well-being is my priority. So like I've really heavily focused on my mental health over the past few years, and before I even go anywhere, I will try and find a gym. So in terms of like those general health, everyday health situation, well-being, I feel like I'm pretty well covered with that. Like I will always find the activities that I like to do. Like I love yoga, I love Muay Thai, I love going to the gym. I will always find the closest yoga, the closest gym, wherever I'm going, so that I know that I have access to that facility. I will try and eat as healthy as possible, particularly in Asia, where there's so many different cuisines that you can try. I will try and have at least one out of my 3 meals a day that is very healthy, and then I'll have a healthy breakfast that I make, and then maybe the other meal I can kind of be a little bit more flexible. And then in terms of healthcare, like to be honest, luckily, like let me touch wood, I've never had any issues in terms of needing to go to hospital or the doctor or whatever. Like I did have I've had a couple of accidents in terms of being on a scooter and having accidents there and falling off or whatever, but I've been able to access medical facilities pretty easily and very affordably, luckily. So I've never had any massive issues, but I do have safety wing nomad insurance just in case anything was to happen for me.
That's amazing. So, we have come to the end of section 1 and we will proceed with the section 2. The name of the section is Through the Lens of a Nomad. Okay. So, the first question of this section is, what's the most affordable country you have visited?
Vietnam. Vietnam is my most
Okay.
affordable.
What's one item you can't travel without?
My laptop, because I won't be able to run my business.
What's the quickest way to meet people in a new city?
Find the local WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups, because you'll easily get involved in community there.
What's the best travel hack you have discovered?
Best travel hack. I think don't book accommodation on booking.com or Airbnb. Like look on Google Maps, find the accommodation that you like looking at and WhatsApp them or message them directly, because you're going to get better rates.
How do you find good Wi-Fi while traveling?
I generally will search on Google Maps, like laptop or Wi-Fi. And if you want to go and work from a cafe or a co-working, it will come up. If the word laptop or Wi-Fi has been used, it will come up in the Google reviews, and I'll be able to sense check from there if anyone else has already commented to say it wasn't bad or it was good.
So now we will go with the section 3. It's a rapid fire round. The name of this section is Know Your Nomad. So first question of this section is favorite city,
Favorite city, Barcelona.
top bucket list destination,
The Maldives.
best travel season,
Spring.
essential travel gadget,
Laptop.
favorite way to travel.
I like scooter. By scooter.
One word to describe nomad life.
An experience, a journey.
Awesome. So now we have come to the end. So my question to you is like, if you can share your go-to app, website, or a resource that helps you to stay connected, manage finance, and find accommodation.
My go-to app. I I think I do it differently to quite a lot of people. I don't use apps, honestly. Like, I do my own research, so I will look on booking.com, for example, and try and find the place, but I will always contact them directly because that is the most affordable way to get it. If I was to use another app outside of that, I would use Facebook groups. Facebook groups usually are the easiest way to use for you to find accommodation that is more affordable in the location that you're looking for.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to new nomads, what would it be?
Do research. I think what I've found is that a lot of people have this vision of what nomad life is looking like, and then maybe they go to a country based on where somebody else has been, but actually they haven't really thought about their own wants and needs for their lifestyle. So you have to be really clear on what kind of lifestyle you want to live before you go and move to a new location or try it out as a nomad. Because, for example, I met a girl in Bangkok who hated cities, but she thought she was going to live in Bangkok because she'd seen all of these videos influencing her on TikTok about the skyrise condos, and she absolutely hated it. And I was like, well, what lifestyle do you like living? And she was like, I like to be by the beach, I like by the water. And I'm like, well, no, Bangkok's not your place. Like, go to the beach. Like, so for me, for example, I would never choose to live in a city more than about a month, because for me, I really like to be by the beach. So know what your lifestyle preference is and do your research on that place as to whether it's going to be able to accommodate that lifestyle that you're looking for, because otherwise you're not going to enjoy yourself there.
So I have come to the end and I'm done with all of the questions. So if you want to promote anything in this podcast, please share it.
For sure. So if you're interested in finding out more about online business or nomad life or entrepreneurship whilst you're living nomad life, you can find me on Instagram at It's Sophie Big Stuff. I'm also on TikTok, and my podcast is The Remote CEO. I talk a lot about my journey as a nomad and how I balance entrepreneurship and the lifestyle that I want to live.
Are you currently building any course or anything for nomads or business, those person who want to grow their business?
Yes, actually, I have a free masterclass that is now being released. It's called Find Your Freedom Model. So if you're thinking about, oh, I want to be a digital nomad, but I don't know how, or you want to start an online business to become a digital nomad to give you that freedom, Find Your Freedom Model is a free masterclass that I basically walk you through the steps on how to achieve that for yourself. Because actually, online business isn't the only way that you can achieve achieve nomad life. I offer you some other tips on how you can utilize your skills and your passions to figure out what career to go down if you want to become a nomad. And then off the back of that, if you decide online business is the route that you want to take, I actually have an online course called Online Business Basics, which walks you through all of the 8 fundamental elements that you need to start an online business and basically build a business that allows you to live the lifestyle you want to achieve. I actually think you'd be better off doing it later because you're more experienced. I think when you're in your early to mid 20s, actually you have quite a lot of benefit of actually building yourself either like a life at home or a career. Like, I think the older that you get into a nomad journey, the more you know about yourself, the more you know about your wants and needs. So I didn't become a nomad till I was 30, for example. I'm now 33, or 29. Sorry, I left the UK. But I do believe that like having experiences that sets you up for that later on. But I think like your later 20s are probably the best time to start nomad journey.
It was amazing. Thanks, Sophie, for coming today. Thanks for your precious time. It was really amazing. And those people who want to be a nomad in 2025 and beyond, they will get amazing experience and amazing head start. Thanks for coming today. It was great. It was my pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.